Hello, we are in my 2012 Toyota Prius Plus. I need to pick up the kid from the kindergarten, which means that we've got some time to talk about this. No, not this, not this, not this. This. So, I will read you. GI Racing VVT Optimizer. Get more power, says the slogan. So, as you can guess, this is one of the aftermarket intake solenoids which claims to give you some power for your engine. In this video, we're gonna see if it's a snake oil, as some people claim it to be, or if it's a real thing which gives you some power. Now, a couple of notes. This is Toyota Prius, and this shares amount with a lot of other Toyota's hybrid platform, same engine across many models, many generations. It's 1.8 Atkinson cycle engine, which is optimized for efficiency, not for the performance, which means that hopefully there is some margin for gaining something from tweaking the intake or exhaust or whatever. Now, I don't know how this works, and there are some guys on Prius forums which gonna do the calculations. They installed this solenoid, Red Bullet intake solenoid. They tried the OEM Toyota, they tried the aftermarket replacement of the OEM part, and that guy basically says that this thing is doing nothing, while other people on the same forum will tell that it definitely does something and they definitely feel something. The question is, who's right? Now, I decided to give a shot and buy one of these solenoids, and I bought it from redbullet.net. There's a lovely chap called Max who's also present at Toyota Prius forums, so he's not some no-name. The communication was very rapid, swift responses, very precise, a lot of updates on shipping. Like, I just can't think it's get any better. So I wholeheartedly recommend you buying from this shop. Now, as to whether this thing makes any gains, gives you any gains or not, I will tell you this. After I installed it, it's basically like 5 minutes installation for the first time you're doing it, and then it's 1 minute when you know what to do. It takes only one 10 millimeter wrench, nothing else to it, very basic, very easy. Now, right after installing the solenoid, I definitely felt something. Now, the question is it like some placebo effect, or is it doing for real, this thing for real? So, to measure if it has any gains, me and my friend, we decided to take our Draggy meter. It's the 25 Hertz GPS, very precise meter, which will tell you the exact acceleration time from 0 to 100. And we test drove the car on a small piece of road which has some inclinations. It also was a little bit wet, just a tiny bit, not enough for the traction control to kick in, but obviously the time we got wasn't the optimal 0 to 100 acceleration time. We're not trying to measure this. We drove the car for quite some time. We got the tires heated up. We made sure the battery is always fully charged or close to that, so that the electrical motor will give you some boost on the initial acceleration. And we did several runs with OEM intake solenoid and aftermarket Red Bullet one. We compared it, and I will tell you just before we get into the specifics that this thing shaved off 0.6 seconds of the acceleration time. Now, granted, the initial acceleration time is quite high to begin with, circa 12 seconds, 11.5 seconds, something like that. But to get 0.6 second gains from this time, I think is quite impressive. Okay, I'll admit that we didn't find the best piece of road because it has some inclination, so the overall 0 to 100 acceleration time will be affected by it. However, we are interested in the difference between averages. And on the first round, the average was 30.07 seconds, which, yeah, is a lot. Next, what we did, we changed the solenoid. That's the only thing we did. We used a 10mm wrench to unscrew one bolt, disconnect the original solenoid, and if you don't care about the oil spilling out just like me, then it's going to be a very, very quick job. Just one bolt, you have the new solenoid, aftermarket solenoid installed, and here we go. I'll tell you that rewatching these videos feels exactly as slow as with the original Toyota Solenoid. However, in person, you get a little bit of this feeling that the car is going quicker. And if you can see the final results, the average is 0.9 seconds better, which is impressive. Okay, a couple of final thoughts here. First, the Solenoid upgrade performed even better than I remembered, because the real gain is 0.9 seconds versus 0.6, which I remembered and I told you about initially. Which just goes on to show that you get used to the new power pretty much quick. Now, is it worth it? Well, it's $250 plus free shipping. And the downsides, I wasn't able to find just any. The petrol consumption, as you can see, is still 2.1 liter per 100 kilometers. Okay, I'm joking, but you get the point. I've drove this car for, I don't know, like 1,000 kilometers after the upgrade, and the average fuel consumption remained exactly the same, less than 5 liter per 100 kilometers if you're not abusing the car. For me, it's a totally worth it thing. For you, well, you get to decide. See you.